Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Dave Roberts, Rick Williams, and Monica Malpass.
From the beach to a jail cell, Jocelyn Kirsch, one half of the crime team dubbed Bonnie and Clyde, owned up to taking part in an elaborate ID theft scam to fund a lavish lifestyle with her former boyfriend, Edward Anderton. Authorities say the couple stole more than $100,000 with plans to steal more.
It is Monday night, and the big story on Action News is a final guilty plea in the case of Bonnie and Clyde. Action News reporter Vernon Odom is live in Center City, where Jocelyn Kirsch appeared in federal court today. Vernon.
Rick, after entering her guilty plea today, Bonnie learned that she'll be sentenced on October the 17th. Clyde's date is set for September the 29th. So this story, ripe for a made-for-TV, cable TV movie, is set to have its climax in about 3 months.
When you really look at it, you will see a girl that is clearly mentally ill, without denying it.
Jocelyn Kirsch's lawyer, moments after she pleaded guilty to a brazen identity theft scheme that she and ex-boyfriend Edward Anderton used to fund exotic vacations, fine dining, and a Tony condo in Center City. They became known as the Bonnie and Clyde of identity theft. It was police who released their travel pictures showing them living large in the Caribbean, Paris, and Hawaii. Now both have pleaded guilty to multiple counts, including bank fraud. The prosecutor says their schemes helped them steal nearly $100,000 in goods and services, and they claim they had plans to obtain at least $100,000 more.
She stole identities from neighbors, from co-workers, from anyone that she encountered.
Kirsch's parents left court today refusing to comment on their daughter's legal troubles. She told the judge she's being treated for mental illness and is taking multiple medications. Prosecutors say her likely sentencing range is 6 to 7 years in prison, plus full restitution to her victims. Kirsch will be sentenced on October the 17th. In the interim, she's sitting in the federal detention center in Center City, only a few blocks from the posh Center City pad she and her former lover once shared, but a long way when it comes to lifestyle.
It's jail, and jail is a harsh place. They're designed to be harsh. But given that, and given that I think that, she's still lucid, she's clear, she hasn't decompensated, which is what I was worried about.
Her lawyer says Jocelyn Kirsch is bravely making the adjustment to prison life and hoping the judge will eventually show her some leniency when it comes to sentencing. She barely spoke above a whisper during today's hearing. Live at the federal courthouse in Center City, Vernon Odom, Channel 6 Action News.
We have some breaking news tonight. A crash along the Roosevelt Boulevard in Northeast Philadelphia has shut down the inner lanes at this hour. Chopper 6 was over the scene just a short time ago. This is the boulevard at Comley Street. A utility van rear-ended a tractor trailer here. One person in the van, believed to be the driver, was rushed to Frankfurt Torresdale Hospital in extremely critical condition. Again, the inner lanes of the Roosevelt Boulevard are shut down right now because of a crash at Comley Street. We'll get an update in just a bit from Matt Pellman in the Action News Traffic Report.
Well, a mother and child were taken to the hospital after their car crashed with a Philadelphia police cruiser. It happened in the 1400 block of North Broad Street in North Philadelphia this morning. The damaged cruiser was in the middle of the intersection. The other car involved slammed into the Freedom Theater building. The mother and child were taken to a nearby hospital. Their injuries were not serious. No major structural damage, by the way, to the building. Well, an Exeter Township police officer was rushed to a Berks County hospital after being overcome by fumes. Officer Terry Reichert was investigating a theft near the St. Lawrence Carbonizing Company. That's in the 3600 block of Parkview Road. Reichert opened a misplaced container and was overcome with fumes. Turned out the fumes were from some spoiled iced tea.
Well, rip current warnings remain posted up and down New Jersey beaches this evening. 3 swimmers died over the weekend. A yellow flag is up at the beach at Cape May today. There it is, blowing in the wind. And the surf is kicking up here at Wildwood Beach as well, where cautious swimmers got into the water under the watchful eye of lifeguards. It was after the guards left Saturday night when rip currents led to the drowning of Philadelphia's Ishmael Lopez. His brother-in-law, Juan Moore, is still missing and presumed dead tonight. The Coast Guard has stopped looking for him, and that's something that has upset his father.
I hope so. I got to keep hope alive. But if it's not well, then it was the God wanted things to be that way, and I can accept that, but I have to know where my son is at.
John Moore told Action News he wants the Coast Guard to resume the search. Action News reporter John Rollins will have much more on this story coming up tonight at 6. And right now, meteorologist Adam Joseph is standing by with more of those dangerous rip currents and how long before Jersey Shore beaches are back to normal. Adam.
And Rick, it was a choppy weekend at sea, and that continued into the day today, and it'll be slow improvement during the upcoming work week. And it's all because of Bertha, a tropical storm now near the island of Bermuda. And she weakened over the weekend because she became stationary, pulling up some colder ocean waters. Now moving to the north at 9 miles an hour, see the blossoming thunderstorms over Bermuda, strengthening just a little bit because she's moving into warmer waters. Winds right now at 70 miles an hour, and because she's been sitting there over the last few days, it is sending swells our way. So the rip current risk will remain moderate, if not high, over the next few days. Slow improvement by the middle and the end of the week, and you could expect 2 to 4 foot waves, that down from 4 to 5 foot waves that we saw today. And some of the beaches have flag warning systems like Longport and Cape May. If you see a green flag, it means the water is safe. If you see a yellow flag, which we've seen over the last few days, it's caution, if not beware. And a red flag would mean extreme, if not hazardous, swimming conditions. And the peak danger time for rip currents is as the high tide goes out, just after high tide, as it's pulling to low tide. And that would be tonight between 5 and 11 o'clock. So between now and the next 6 hours or so. All right, coming up, I'll have the full accurate of the forecast. We're going to steam things up here over the next few days. We'll let you know how hot it gets. That coming your way in just a little bit.
All right, Adam, we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you. There is a new plan in the works to fund repairs to Interstate 80. It involves adding tolls to the stretch in north central Pennsylvania. Today, the Turnpike Commission rolled out a plan to spend $250 million a year on repairs. The money would come from those new tolls if they're approved by federal regulators. I-80 needs to be resurfaced and bridges need to be rebuilt, among other things.
Time right now to check on the Action News traffic report. Speaking of roads and bridges.
All right, let's go live to Matt Pullman in the Action News Traffic Center. Hey there, Matt. How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. How about you guys?
Great.
Excellent. And at least the afternoon drive is looking a little bit better than the Monday morning drive when things were very wet. This afternoon, at least, we've dried out. But we still have some issues out there, including that accident that we told you about on the Roosevelt Boulevard southbound involving the van and the tractor trailer. At this point, the inner drive is still blocked. And so southbound, we're locked up from Hornig Road down to past Comley Road. So the outer drive is getting by, but if you don't want to sit in that jam, maybe think about taking Street Road this afternoon to Bustleton Avenue, taking that down to Red Lion Road and then back to the Boulevard, or you could take Street Road to Knights Road, run that down to Frankfort Avenue, and then take Frankfort to Grant and back to the Boulevard. But we'll continue to watch that problem. Also watching delays this afternoon here in Chester County on 202 headed southbound from approaching 29 down to 401. It's a 14-minute ride with some slow speeds there. And tonight, both ways around Route 29, we're going to have 15-minute traffic stoppages because of construction, so just be aware of that. Also on 202 right now, northbound in the Westchester area, we're locked up from 926 up to approaching Skiles Boulevard because of a disabled vehicle in the right lane. And no service continues on the Market Frankfort L between 46th and 69th. The shuttle buses are running instead of the trains because of that ongoing construction. Monica, back over to you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, it was an emotional day for a Newcastle County man who almost died during his regular morning jog 13 days ago. But today, the survivor got to personally thank the people who saved his life.
Did a lot of praying that day.
42-year-old Simon Cranny is the one saying prayers of thanks now. Today, he finally heard all the details firsthand of his near-fatal heart attack in Rockford Park, Wilmington 2 weeks ago. Cranny had been out jogging when he stopped to talk to two park employees at the bathroom. That's when he went down. Lucky for him, Dave Jones and James Bradley had learned CPR before but never used it. With 911 prompting them over the phone, they were able to revive Cranny until paramedics came.
That's why I originally thought you were having an epileptic fit or you hit your head on a rock.
Next, two paramedics from Newcastle County used electric shock to restart Cranny's heart as they rushed him to St. Francis Hospital. There, doctors took over and helped save this businessman's life.
We had the emergency staff team waiting for him. We had the cardiac cath lab. He was in the cath lab within less than 20 minutes of your arrival.
Till then, the victim had been listed as John Doe. Today, being able to put his name with his face and hear his words of gratitude was incredible.
On July 1st, you saved me, Simon Cranny, but more importantly, You saved Simon Cranny, the father of my 2 children, and Simon Cranny, the husband of my wife. And for that, I am eternally grateful and can never, ever, ever say thank you enough.
Saving a life is our reward. This is why we do this. You know, this makes us proud. This makes us come to work every day.
Oh, I was a nervous wreck for the rest of the day. I still am emotional about it. You know, I'm so glad to see that man, especially with the family. That means so much to me.
Ah, sweet story. Well, Simon Cranny says he's not quite ready to start jogging again anytime soon. He just wants to relax, enjoy his wife and those 2 sweet little daughters. All his new friends think that's a very good idea.
I agree. Much more still to come on Action News Monday night. A major goal for Senator Arlen Specter as he battles Hodgkin's disease for a second time. Health Check reporter Allie Gorman reports on his final treatment. Plus, the king of beers, no more. We'll have the details on a multi-million-dollar buyout that puts Budweiser in the hands of a Belgian company.
And Miley Cyrus criticized for these pictures. Now there are more snapshots making headlines for the Hannah Montana headliner. We'll have those stories. Also, Adam's back with the AccuWeather forecast when Action News continues tonight.
The husband of an Army nurse at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, has been charged with her murder. Fayetteville police found the remains of 2nd Lieutenant Holly Wymonk in a brush fire 3 days after she disappeared. The soldier's apartment also had been set on fire. Her husband, Marine Corporal John Wymonk, was arrested yesterday along with another officer, Lance Corporal Kyle Alden. John Wymonk also faces an arson charge with Alden, who is accused of conspiracy to commit murder. The couple was apparently in a bitter divorce battle at the time. A high-speed car chase in California kept police busy this afternoon. Helicopters were over the highway as police chased 2 burglary suspects in this red vehicle. But it ended shortly after the freeway ride when one man bailed and ran on foot in the South Los Angeles area right here. He was arrested while his alleged accomplice continued fleeing in the car. That suspect is still on the run.
Time for a health check tonight. Allie Gorman joins us. She met up with Pennsylvania Senator Arlen Specter this morning, and today was his last treatment for Hodgkin's disease.
He is definitely happy about this. The 78-year-old senator beat cancer in 2005. Then, just in April, he was diagnosed with a recurrence. Again, he kept up his busy schedule, but says the second time around wasn't as easy. Senator Arlen Specter stepped out this morning in good spirits for his last round of chemotherapy at the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania.
Get all these chemicals out of my system is something really to look forward to.
Pennsylvania's senior senator has gone through 12 weeks of chemotherapy to treat Hodgkin's disease. Throughout, he's kept up with his busy Senate schedule. We caught up with him on Capitol Hill last week, and although he appeared pale and tired, he says working has been the best medicine.
I found the busier I stay, the better off I am because less time to think about myself.
But Specter admits he takes frequent naps and his squash schedule has been cut back. The 78-year-old says fighting cancer was more difficult the second time around.
Several years ago, I had 12 treatments, and now I've had 12 more, so that it has a cumulative effect.
But the overall effect is good. Specter says his doctors say his prognosis is excellent. In March, Specter released his book, Never Give In, Battling Cancer in the Senate. It's about beating Hodgkin's the first time in 2005. Now he'll add a few chapters to the paperback version. It's just one of many things the senator has planned for his recovery.
I'm looking forward to being on the squash court every morning. That's a big part of my life.
And experts tell us that Hodgkin's is highly curable, but after treatment, it's still hard to tell if and how long cancer will stay in remission. The senator is up for re-election in 2010. He'll be 80 years old then, and he says he looks forward to running for another term.
Oh, good for him. Quite a fighter.
Why not?
That would be number 6, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks, Allie.
Well, an elderly couple in Delaware County is getting some help with several of their home repairs today. Young members of a church group from North Carolina created this assembly line to remove cinder blocks from the couple's demolished garage in Drexel Hill. The church group is here on a mission to help the Upper Darby Code Enforcement Office. The federal government has announced plans to rescue mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac play a central role in our housing finance system and must continue to do so in their current form.
Well, the two companies have seen their stocks plummet because of the current credit crisis. A safety net put in place by the federal government will now expand their credit line, give the Treasury the authority to buy stock, and make it easier for the companies to borrow money from the federal government if needed. Meanwhile, customers in California here lined up outside IndyMac Bank today. The federal government seized that bank last Friday. The bank specialized in mortgages that required little, if any, proof that the homebuyer was well qualified.
Anheuser-Busch has agreed to a buyout by a Belgian brewer. The maker of the King of Beers is being sold to a company called InBev for $52 billion. The combined company will be called Anheuser-Busch InBev and will create the world's largest brewer. Right now, InBev is the second largest beer maker with brands such as Stella Artois, Beck's, and Bass. It will now be the manufacturer of Budweiser and Bud Light. The deal is expected to close by the end of the year. Apple says it sold more than 1 million iPhones over the weekend. It debuted on Friday, the new one, with some people camping out overnight to be the first with the must-have gadget. There were some issues, though. Servers were overrun with customers trying to activate the phones, but those problems subsided. The new 3G phone offers faster internet and costs half the price of the original iPhone.
Kind of a mixed bag in the old weather department. Out to Adam Joseph. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Good evening. And as expected, things are slowly clearing out. I do see just a little bit of sunshine coming through, some thick cloud cover. We go back to 10 o'clock this morning on Storm Tracker 6 3D Live when the showers and heavy downpours pushed through the I-95 corridor, slowly working off the coast, leaving behind just the clouds. So rain totals from this morning. It was impressive north and west of the city. Reading about a half an inch, over an inch in Pottstown, about 0.15 in Philadelphia, about a quarter of an inch in Trenton, and just over a trace or so in Millville. We go down the shore live on Sky 6 to Atlantic City. A lot of clouds, and again dealing with those rip currents over the last few days that will continue into the middle of this week. So definitely, if you're going down there, swim only on beaches that are guarded. Right now in Center City, we're dealing with the temperature very pleasant at 82 degrees, humidity low at 45%. The barometer beginning to rise and winds out of the northwest right now at 7 miles an hour. We started off at 68 degrees, so made a recovery despite all the cloud cover. High temperatures across the region for the day today. Most areas did break into the 80s, 83 in Reading, 80 in Allentown. The only locations that stayed in the 70s were closer to the coastline, the boardwalk, and also Avalon, as well as Dover. But Future Tracker 6 for tomorrow morning. Temperatures will start mainly in the 60s north of the city, around 71 in Philadelphia. And tomorrow afternoon, with brilliant sunshine by 1 o'clock, most of us will be in the low, if not mid-80s at that time. So AccuWeather saying for tonight, the clouds will begin to break up. We'll see some stars, comfortable humidity as well, 60 in the suburbs to 66 in Center City. And as we look ahead with Mr. 6, he is shorebound, ready to go because the sunshine breaks out again tomorrow. Low humidity, a high of 88 degrees. It'll be hot, sunny, and dry. Low humidity for Wednesday at 90 degrees, and then it turns hot and more humid on Thursday. There we go, back to 94 degrees with overnight lows into the lower 70s. And we're not done with the 90s on Thursday. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan has much more on the heat and humidity in the AccuWeather forecast at 5:30. Rick and Monica, have a great Monday evening.
All right, we will. Thank you, Adam. Much more still to come on the next half hour of Action News Monday night. It's a satirical cartoon depicting Barack Obama, but some say it's much more, and they're upset about it. We're live with the debate.
A ride operator is critically injured when he enters a restricted area to retrieve a hat. I'm Nora Mushanek in Seaside Heights. I'll have that story coming up.
And find out what federal officials are doing to avoid collisions on runways at the nation's largest airports. Action News continues in a moment.
Action News continues with meteorologist Cecily Tynan, Rick Williams, and Monica Malpass.
Hello again. Coming up tonight on Action News, the magazine cover that has everyone talking. It's a satirical depiction of Barack Obama, but some people aren't laughing. In fact, they are outraged. We will examine the controversy coming up tonight. Also, how a deadly attack against U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan has military leaders rethinking their strategy. It's the first full day of a new phase of SEPTA construction in West Philadelphia. We'll check in with drivers and riders affected by the shift.
Now the details. Is it political satire or just plain over the top? From the water cooler to the campaign trail, it seems everyone has an opinion about the cover of the latest New Yorker magazine. This is it. It depicts a controversial caricature of Barack Obama and his wife, Michelle. Obama's not talking about it, but his campaign is, along with others who are outraged and those who are defending the magazine. ABC News correspondent Christiane Klein is following the story live from Washington, D.C. tonight and has more. Good evening, Christiane.
Good evening, Monica. Well, the blogosphere is buzzing about this picture. It's clearly designed to be satire, but the question for many is, did the New Yorker go too far?
A political firestorm is brewing around this cartoon on the cover of The New Yorker. It shows Barack Obama in the Oval Office wearing Muslim garb, bumping fists with his wife Michelle. She's sporting military fatigues and an assault rifle. An American flag is shown burning in the fireplace, and above the mantel, a picture of Osama bin Laden. It's a shocking yet literal depiction of some of the worst false rumors and fears about Barack Obama and his wife. But when asked about the cover,
I have no response to that.
Obama's campaign spokesman didn't see the humor, saying most readers will see it as tasteless and offensive, and we agree. Even John McCain leapt to his rival's defense.
I think it's totally inappropriate. Frankly, I understand if Senator Obama and his supporters would find it offensive.
Representatives for The New Yorker called the picture satire, saying it shows fantastical images about the Obamas and shows them for the obvious distortions they are. The image is now making the rounds on the internet, and some may not have gotten the joke.
Go.
Well, even with Obama's persistent denials, the latest Newsweek poll shows that 44% of Americans believe Obama has some type of Muslim connection. Reporting live in Washington, Christiane Klein, Channel 6 Action News.
All right.
Monica?
Thank you, Christiane. And we asked viewers to respond to this interaction question today. Do you think the New Yorker magazine covers offensive or acceptable political satire? Susan from Springfield says, quote, "It is truly tasteless and will feed the ignorant fears of many." Meg from Villanova agrees, saying she's disgusted. Even if it is satire, it is in the worst possible taste. Ashley from Tobyhanna supports the notion that it is satire, saying, quote, "The point of the cover is not to support the rumors or crazy beliefs, but to just prove a point." And Kat from Bridgeton had a different take, saying, quote, "I find the magazine's cover to be acceptable all the way. They only put into press what so many of us believe."
In other news tonight, flames swallowed a group of apartments in Deptford, New Jersey today. No injuries reported here at the Chestnut Lane Apartments on the 1700 block of Delsey Drive. Crews made quick work of the fire and had it under control in about 10 minutes, but it burned long enough to damage at least 2 units. The fire marshal and police are still investigating. Pilots are getting another tool to help avoid runway collisions at some of the country's largest airports. Sky 6 looking live at Philadelphia International Airport tonight, one of 21 major airports that will be getting new lighting systems over the next 3 years. The new lights will change color to signal when a runway is safe to enter or cross. The FAA has moved to action after a number of runway incursions of late. A close call happened just last Friday when 2 planes nearly collided at JFK in New York. It was the second near collision there in less than a week. 63 people have died in 6 U.S. plane collisions since 1990.
A foreign exchange student from Bulgaria is near death at a Jersey Shore hospital. He was hit from behind by a roller coaster while trying to retrieve a little boy's hat. New Jersey correspondent Norm Mushanek has the story from the Casino Pier in Seaside Heights.
The Starjet roller coaster at the Casino Pier on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights remains closed today after a terrible accident here Sunday night. Police say it was just before 7 when 21-year-old Stanislav Dragnev a college student from Bulgaria working at the shore for the summer, climbed underneath the ride while it was in progress to retrieve a hat dropped by a child.
It's a tragic accident. He was trying to, get this young boy's hat and unfortunately went where he shouldn't have been and got hit.
Authorities say Dragnev stepped underneath the tracks in a restricted area, and when he stood up, it was between the rails and the bars, not knowing that the coaster was coming behind him. The roller coaster car slammed into Dragnev's head and shoulders after rocketing down a steep incline. He remains at the Jersey Shore Medical Center in critical condition on life support. Pier officials say that the Oregon-based company that recruited and hired Dragnev for his job here is trying to obtain emergency visas for his family so they can come to the U.S. to see him.
It was pretty emotional for all the Bulgarians.
About 40 to 50 Bulgarian exchange students are working the rides at Casino Pier this summer. Today, they were stone-faced as they arrived for work, worried about the co-worker they describe as friendly and outgoing.
He was working hard, and when we were out of work, he was really having fun and enjoying his time here.
Dragnev lived in this house with other exchange students just across from the boardwalk.
I feel bad about any kid who's out here trying to work and earn some money for the summer, and then all of a sudden something terrible like this happens.
Ride inspectors from the state are checking the coaster to confirm no malfunction contributed to the accident. Grief counselors who speak Bulgarian are said to meet with Stanislav Dragnev's co-workers. In Seaside Heights, I'm Nora Mushanek, Channel 6 Action News.
A Wilmington man is in police custody and charged with the fatal stabbings of two men in an apartment over the weekend. Newcastle County Police arrested 27-year-old Jose Teles Rojas yesterday. He allegedly stabbed the two victims in their Alban Park apartment early Sunday morning and left the scene. Police discovered Teles Rojas had an earlier dispute with at least one of the victims. Officers have not confirmed the identities of the two deceased men because they are still having some difficulty notifying relatives.
Well, the robbery suspect remains hospitalized in Berks County tonight after being shot by a police officer. The suspect's in fair condition. The officer shot the suspect late last night here at 6th and Ole Streets in Wyomissing. According to police, the shooting happened minutes after the suspect tried to rob a nearby Sunoco A-Plus convenience store. The suspect was charged and arraigned in the hospital. Police have not released that person's identity.
Well, the ongoing SEPTA L project caused some congestion and confusion today in West Philadelphia. The intersection of 63rd and Market Streets was closed on Friday. Construction crews are working on a new L platform. It's part of a $700 million reconstruction project going on for the past 9 years. Many SEPTA passengers were troubled by today's closure.
It's just a big hassle, and I feel like maybe they should just only do L shutdowns on the weekend, because Monday through Friday is just too much. It's a work day. Everybody's trying to get to work on time, and it's just entirely too much. I'm just so frustrated right now.
The intersection is scheduled to be closed until next Monday. In August, another project will have it closed for at least 16 days.
All right, time to check things out on the roads with another Action News traffic report.
Back we go to Matt Pellman for yet another update. All right, what's going on, Matt?
Yes, well, we are talking about that Market Frankfurt L situation. We've been talking about it all day today, Rick and Monica, and a couple thoughts on that. They are running those shuttle buses between 46th and 69th. You want to follow the red signs for the non-stop service between those 2 points. That runs during only the rush hours, and then the blue signs will direct you to the service that goes all the time, that stops at all the different stops. Also, a note on the mass transit front for the regional rails. On the R1 Airport line and R2 Warminster line, service has gone from a half hour to every hour this week because of construction on those two lines, the R1 and R2. Also, some good news for you on the Roosevelt Boulevard now. Coming southbound, the crash is gone, but we're still stacked from Hornig Road to past Comley Road, where we had that crash that was blocking the inner drive. Now to the Schuylkill Expressway, headed eastbound just past the boulevard. You start to hit the brakes around Spring Garden, basically on in through South Street with just 9 miles per hour there by 30th. And tonight they're going to be working on the Schuylkill yet again, both ways in King of Prussia, between Croton Road and the Turnpike tolls. They're working there pretty much all weekend long, got some paving done. They'll be doing more of it tonight. Rick and Monica, back over to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Matt. Well, troops who leave Iraq may be headed to another war zone. Hear what military officials are saying about what's now needed in Afghanistan.
And one official believes this summer program is behind a local district's dramatic rise in high school graduates. We'll tell you how it works. Cecily.
Well, now Tropical Storm Bertha continues to cause dangerous rip currents at the shore. We'll have an update, plus talk about heat wave number 3 on the way in the AccuWeather forecast.
Also, another potential problem involving pictures for teenage star Miley Cyrus. That and much more when Action News comes right back.
U.S. military officials are considering bringing in troops from Iraq to now fight the growing insurgency in Afghanistan. That after 9 soldiers died in an attack launched by an estimated 200 Taliban fighters yesterday. It happened in the province of Kunar that borders Pakistan. It's where American forces have been fighting increasingly intense battles. Now, senior American officials say an additional 10,000 troops are needed in Afghanistan.
Well, Congress didn't make a move, so today President Bush did and lifted an executive ban on offshore oil and gas drilling. The president made the announcement from the White House lawn. He also reiterated that he'd urged Congress about a month ago to consider lifting the ban of oil and gas drilling in protected waters off the U.S. coast. It had been in place since 1990 during the former President Bush's administration. But today's action means nothing unless Congress makes a similar move concerning the offshore exploration.
Well, the price of Microsoft's Xbox is coming down. The Xbox 360 will now sell for $299. That's a $50 drop. Gaming fans can also expect an updated model of the console in August. The new improved Xbox will cost $350 and will include a 60-gigabyte hard drive.
Careful. Right. Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't even know what that means. But anyway.
It's fast.
Gary Bob is here. All-Star break, and all eyes are on the Big Apple.
I love your restraint.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening. All-Star break. Jamie Apote's with the best in baseball. A couple of Phillies up there at Yankee Stadium, and so is our All-Star, Jamie Apote.
The eyes of the baseball world are here on the Bronx, Yankee Stadium, site of the 79th annual Midsummer Classic. Brad Lidge and Chase Utley are here representing the Phillies, and earlier this afternoon I got a chance to talk to them about what an honor it is to be here.
It's exciting. This is what it's kind of all about. Getting an opportunity to participate in the Home Run Derby. Not too many people can say they do that. Obviously playing the All-Star game, not too many people can say they play the All-Star game, especially last year for Yankee Stadium. So I think it's an exciting time for not only me, but for all the guys in this room. It's going to be a great experience.
To come to the Phillies, to be in first place at this time of the season, and to be in the All-Star game, sitting here with Chase and everybody else that's a stud here, it's an honor. I mean, I'm really very happy about it.
All right, coming up at 6, we'll talk about tonight's big event, the Home Run Derby, starring our own Chase Utley. At Yankee Stadium, the All-Star Game. I'm Jamie Apote, Channel 6 Action News.
That is the place to be. Thank you, Jamie Apote. Rest of the Phillies are kicking back, taking some time off. Pat Burrell had that big blast yesterday. Remember this one? Out of here.
Deep left center field.
Strong case for Pat, maybe Ryan to make the All-Star team. That didn't happen. But beyond all that, what about the rest of the regular season, Pat Burrell?
We got a lot of baseball left, and there's a lot of things we can do to improve. And, hopefully, the time off gives guys a chance to regroup, focus, and get ready for, hopefully a strong second half.
What about the standings? This is how they stack up. We'll get to Donovan in a moment. We got the standings for the National League East. There you go. Phillies in top by a half game. Florida, 1.5 back. Atlanta and Washington, by the way, it's 5:45, 81 degrees. Phillies, half game up. Last year, in contrast, they were in third place at the All-Star break. Those are the standings. Second half is going to be very interesting. NFL, Brett Favre is talking tonight on the Fox News Channel. It was recorded earlier today. What he said was he is guilty of retiring too early. Does not feel welcome in Green Bay and therefore wants to play someplace else, but for whom a major question. It is Favre from over. Last we saw Donovan, South Philadelphia in June. I like South Philadelphia in June. This is when it all shut down because his arm felt sore, needed some rest. Today on his website, he says this. He says, fans might be happy to know that I'm in Arizona working out with Brian Dawkins. Next week, some other players will come out and we'll work out together for a couple of days, a few days before training camp opens up. Says, I'm feeling fine. The shoulder is fine. I can't wait to get started this season. Yardbarker.com. Donovan McNabb. By the way, Lehigh starts next Monday. Can you believe that?
Can you believe
That
it?
came
Did you have a good
quickly.
weekend?
I had a great weekend. How about you?
He
So
was
I
in
heard.
his play. He did a good job, we heard.
It was wonderful.
Yes, you were. You always are.
So modest.
The king of
Oh
kings.
my gosh.
Yes, I have video if you want. Never mind.
Stop it.
Really, that's fine.
A familiar view for Whoopi Goldberg, the comedian turned talk show host, is going back to Broadway. We'll tell you which cast she is joining. Speaking of Broadway.
You're running in the
There's
family.
that.
Meteorologist Cecily Tynan will be back with that exclusive AccuWeather 5-day. We'll be right back. Some confusing signals from Mother Nature today. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan here to tell us all about it. I know you predicted it, but it was cloudy 1 minute, sunny,
It was
cloudy.
a cold front that moved through
Aha.
this morning. That's what brought us the rain. But Storm Tracker 6 Live showing no confusion now. You can see the rain has moved offshore. We still have some lingering clouds, though. I tell you, the big problem right now, though, is at the shore. We're live on Sky 6 taking a look in Atlantic City. Do be very careful. Rip currents will remain a problem until the middle of the week, so don't go in the waters that don't have lifeguards, and a good idea just to go up to your knees because it is very dangerous. Right now, officially in Philadelphia, 82 degrees. That's our high for the day, so it was a cool day. Humidity 45%, barometer 29.88 and rising. Winds out of the northwest at 7 miles an hour. The ocean temperature, a little upwelling going on, has warmed up to 64 degrees. Right now in the Poconos, a comfortable 73, Allentown 80, Trenton 81, Wilmington 83, and Wildwood 75 degrees. Well, the rainfall this morning, some areas did get a pretty good soaking. Philadelphia 0.15, Allentown 0.35, Wilmington 0.44, and Trenton about a quarter inch of rain, all thanks to that cold front. Now, Satellite 6 along with Action Radar showing the moisture from this front has moved offshore. You can see a little bit of cloud just left over. Behind it, though, high pressure is building in, and this will control our weather right through the week and looks like right through the weekend. The next 2 days, low humidity, lots of sunshine, beautiful weather with winds out of the northwest. The problem, though, late in the week, we've got this classic Bermuda high situation setting up. High pressure off the eastern seaboard, winds out of the southwest, and that means hazy, hot, and humid, oppressive weather at the end of the week into the weekend. Looks like we are heading for heat wave number 3. Down the shore tomorrow, beautiful day on the beaches. Bright sunshine, 76 to 80 with a sea breeze. The ocean temperature 65 degrees, but again, rip currents remain a big problem, so do be very careful. This is the reason why. Bertha, it's been downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical storm, but it's still pretty strong. Maximum sustained winds 70 miles an hour. It's moving now towards the north. Will make an easterly shift in the next couple of days. 55 miles from Bermuda, so it's very close to Bermuda. And if you look at that convection that's firing up right there, the thunderstorms, that's actually the strongest part of the storm. It's over Bermuda right now, and we do have reports of 70-mile-an-hour winds in Bermuda with some heavy rain, so Bermuda's getting hit pretty hard. The call from AccuWeather back at home. We are heading back into the bright. After a lot of clouds today, plenty of sunshine returns tomorrow. Tonight, partly cloudy, comfortable overnight low 60 to 66, and the exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast. Beautiful weather tomorrow. Lots of sunshine, low humidity 88 degrees. Wednesday, humidity stays low, but the temperatures creep up near 90. Thursday, hot and humid 94 degrees. Friday, the same. That's 3 days in a row of 90 or above. That's officially heat wave number 3, but it looks like it will last into the weekend, at least the first half of the weekend. Hazy, 92 degrees, maybe a late day thunderstorm. As we take a look beyond the 5 days, Sunday and Monday, we keep that possibility of some pop-up showers or thunderstorms. It will stay warm, afternoon highs up near 90 degrees. So tomorrow, enjoy it because hot, humid weather is returning.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cecily. While many high schoolers are spending the summer at the beach or maybe scooping ice cream, we learned about some young people in Chester who are getting a jump start on their futures. Action News reporter Tamla Edwards has more on just how they're doing it.
Today at Widener University, there was a different kind of summer school. These 30 Chester High School juniors and seniors are preparing for future college success.
You can measure by the degree, or you can measure by the length.
Starting today, the students spend 3 weeks in college in SAT prep classes. Last week, seminars focused on leadership and presentation, skills Elvis Naylor says will help him be the first in his family to make it to college.
They taught us principles, they taught us communication skills, public speaking, high self-esteem and to be enthusiastic.
In the fifth and final week, they'll be drilled on job hunting skills. The program is trying to combat Chester's tough stats. 60% of the district students grow up in single-parent homes. 80% qualify for free lunches. And just last year, only 14% of the senior class graduated.
Many of them didn't think about college. Many of them didn't talk about college. Many of them thought that college was out of reach.
In his first year, Superintendent Greg Thornton started a turnaround. This year, almost 50% of his seniors graduated. And the summer boot camp, done with Widener and an education nonprofit, is about pushing them even higher.
This is truly about not leaving any child behind.
Junior Asia Carlton is now even more determined to go to college, and many of her friends wouldn't even think about it if they weren't here.
They just be doing what everybody else doing, trying to find a minimum wage job, not trying to put their best foot forward and do their best.
Dr. Thornton says that coming in for about 50% of these kids, college was just a fantasy. Now he's certain that for 100% of them, ending up at a place like Widener will be a reality. In Chester, Tamala Edwards, Channel 6 Action News.
Well, topping our people scene, Whoopi Goldberg is headed for the Great White Way. The View co-host, actress, and comedian announced today on the show that she will now appear in the Tony-nominated Broadway musical Xanadu starting July 29th. Goldberg will play one of the show's evil sisters, Calliope. She's no stranger to Broadway, though. She appeared in her own one-woman show and 2 other plays before.
Also in our people scene tonight, Henry is reportedly leaving ABC's Ugly Betty. The actor, Christopher Gorman, plays Betty's geeky accountant boyfriend, and according to published reports, he has left the hit show to co-star in a mid-season CBS drama. At the end of his last season of Ugly Betty, Henry was in love, or in a love triangle with Betty, who was trying to make a choice between him and Gio. With Gorman's departure, it appears Betty will be looking for a new love. A new batch of racy photos of pop star Miley Cyrus has reached the internet. The pictures were apparently taken with her own cell phone. A hacker retrieved the photos from the phone's memory, and they were posted on a site called Digital Gangster. One picture allegedly shows the teen wearing a T-shirt while taking a shower. The tween sensation will be performing live, by the way, on Good Morning America, Friday, July 18th.
Right now, Jim Gardner and the Action News team are standing by with these stories and more next at 6. Bonnie's saga is coming to a close. We are there as she admits what she did, and her lawyer tells us why he thinks her plight receives so much attention.
Also drowning at the Jersey Shore. That story and much more coming up. But now, for Monica Malpass, the entire Action News team, I'm Rick Williams. Have a nice evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Monday night, Philadelphia police have just released a sketch in yesterday's sexual assault, and lifeguards are warning about the dangers of rip currents that have proven deadly at the shore. But the big story on Action News tonight is the official plea today from 22-year-old Jocelyn Kirsch to a judge in Philadelphia. Said the former Drexel student, "I'm guilty." And with those words, Kirsch acknowledged teaming up with her former boyfriend, Penn graduate Edward Anderton, to steal more than $100,000 from friends and neighbors so the two could live the high life. But her arrest and subsequent court appearances gave her a very different look from the romantic image of Bonnie and Clyde. Action News reporter Vernon Odom is live outside the Federal Building in Philadelphia. Vernon, what was it like in there today?
A bit eerie in that 6th floor courtroom today, Jim. Jocelyn Kirsch was supposed to graduate from Drexel University this spring, never spoke above a whisper during the entire 1-hour hearing. She was dressed in dark green prison garb, a big fall from her previous lifestyle.
You're talking about somebody who's obviously mentally ill. You don't have to be a brain surgeon or a psychiatrist to see that.
Jocelyn Kirsch entered her guilty plea telling the judge she's been suffering from mental illness for a long time and is still on multiple medications. Her lawyer says her mental problems are the major factor that led this 22-year-old former Drexel student and her ex-boyfriend into sophisticated identity theft schemes. In the media, they've become known as Bonnie and Clyde. The boyfriend, Edward Anderton, has already entered a guilty plea. They stole IDs and credit cards from friends, neighbors, and even strangers out on the bar scene so they could live large. The government says they ripped off nearly $120,000 before getting caught. Police found evidence of their lavish trips to Europe and various vacation playgrounds. The government wants them to do at least 7 years behind bars.
Restitution is mandatory under the federal laws, so she will be required, as will her co-defendant, to pay back all of the money that was generated in this scheme to all of the victims.
Kirsch was already confined to the Federal Detention Center here in Philadelphia, a big change from her former posh dwelling at this high-end condo building not far away. Her parents left court today without comment. Her father is a prominent doctor in North Carolina. Kirsch's lawyer complains that the media has gone over the top on this story because Bonnie's vacation pictures went out on the internet.
She looks good in a bikini, and that you have pictures of her in a bikini to put all over the place. That's the only difference in this case than almost any other case that I have.
Jim, Jocelyn Kirsch will undergo a full psychiatric examination by the government before sentence is passed in mid-October. Live at the federal courthouse in Center City. Vernon Odom, Channel 6 Action News.
Thank you, Vernon. Our website at 6abc.com has a lot of additional resources on the Bonnie and Clyde case. You can see slideshows of the couple's exotic escapades, and you can watch videos of how the law finally caught up with them. We have breaking news tonight in the sexual assault of a woman in South Philadelphia. Police have just released the sketch of the suspect. He is in his 20s, 140 pounds, 5'9" to 6 feet tall, with a light complexion. Officials say he has muscular arms and braids in his hair. Police say he forced his way into a 23-year-old woman's home early yesterday and attacked her with a knife. Here is another look at the suspect. Detectives say he may frequent the areas around 18th to 19th Street and Carpenter to Christian. If you have seen him or know anything about him, you are urged to call police right away. There are more questions than answers tonight in the wake of this weekend's drowning incident off Wildwood, New Jersey. But this everybody knows. What started out as a fun jaunt into the ocean ended in tragedy. Action News reporter John Rollins was back at the shore today.
A vacation video of three friends at a family outing as they jump into the churning Wildwood surf Saturday evening. Moments later, disaster strikes, a powerful rip current. Only one makes it safely to shore. 28-year-old Juan Moore is dragged away from his loved ones, as his father explains.
He started yelling, help, help, and nobody could help my son. And by the time they got, they couldn't find his body.
John Moore says his son Juan, who worked at the convention center here in Philadelphia for years, was a family man who doted on his young son. Without a body, the elder Moore hopes his son is still alive. Moore's son-in-law, Ishmael Joey Lopez, did perish Saturday despite efforts to revive him. Here at the home of Lopez's brother, family and friends grieved. The sole survivor of Saturday's incident declined to talk to reporters, but told Moore the force of the undertow was staggering as he tried to save Lopez.
He was trying to reach for my son-in-law like that, and I guess his arm slipped off him. Because he was like caught in something pulling him down.
Moore and his eldest son traveled to Wildwood today to talk to officials. Moore wants to know why, in the face of the ocean conditions, the beach had not been closed or at least had warning flags posted. Wildwood does not use warning flags. Officials say they stress to the public not to swim when lifeguards are not on duty.
When lifeguards are not there, do not go in the water. The water is very dangerous, deceptively dangerous, very inviting, but it can be very dangerous.
Chief Sorelli says Saturday's incident occurred at about 7 p.m., a full 90 minutes after Wildwood's lifeguards went off duty. John Rollins, Channel 6 Action News.
Well, dangerous rip currents also grabbed hold of a man who later died in Atlantic City over the weekend. And that strong undertow continues tonight, making swimming a risky proposition at the Jersey Shore. Sky 6 now looking live at Atlantic City as higher than normal swells are rolling in, all prompted by a storm hundreds of miles away. Meteorologist Adam Joseph is joining us to let us know how long these warnings will last and a little more about rip currents. Adam?
Absolutely, Jim. And beaches like Cape May here seeing those larger and stronger than normal waves, all because of Tropical Storm Bertha. Right now, she is pretty much right on the edge of the island of Bermuda. Winds at 70 miles an hour, moving to the north at 9 miles an hour. And you can see that deep convection, the blossoming oranges on your radar, showing that Bertha is strengthening. And as long as she's out there, it's going to keep sending those large waves our way. So a rip current risk continues for the next few days, at least through midweek, a moderate to high risk. There'll be slow improvement by the end of the weekend, still expecting 2 to 4 foot waves. That down a little bit from yesterday and today's 4 to 5 foot waves. And again, some of the beaches use a flag warning system, such as Cape May and Longport. Green meaning safe. If you see a yellow flag, it's caution, if not beware. And then a red flag would mean extreme, if not hazardous, swimming conditions. And the peak danger time, now rip currents can occur at any time, but the peak time is when the high tide starts to go back out, and that is right now until 11 o'clock tonight, and then again late tomorrow morning into early the afternoon hours of tomorrow. But Jim, coming up in that full AccuWeather forecast, we'll talk about Bertha moving away, plus our heat will really start to crank up. I'll have that full details coming up in a little bit.
And as you probably know, you can always find the latest AccuWeather information on our website at 6abc.com. On the Watches and Warnings channel, you can see if a rip current advisory is in effect. A shooting late this afternoon in the Hunting Park section of Philadelphia has left a man near death. The unidentified male victim, believed to be in his 30s, was shot in the chest just after 4 o'clock at 5th and Bristol Streets. He was rushed to Temple University Hospital in extremely critical condition. Police have not made any arrests in the case.
Houses! When do we want it? Now!
Some apartment residents who were forced from their homes last month protested today across the street from Philadelphia City Hall. They lived in the Lindley Court Apartments in Logan and were evicted back on June 22nd when the building was condemned. L&I cited the property for unsafe and unsanitary conditions. Well, the landlord and the owner of the apartment building have been ordered to pay $80,000 to relocate the residents, but many say they just want to go back to their homes. Coming up on Action News tonight, a salute to a group of military men, thanking them for their service to the country decades ago.
Tonight's the Home Run Derby. I'm Jamie Apodi in New York City. Coming up, Chase Utley talks about his chances.
And Adam Joseph returns with that 5-day AccuWeather forecast. Don Pollock shows us the airplane for sale that just won't need jet fuel. That and much more when Action News continues tonight. This accident on Saturday night in Bryn Mawr has brought the president of Ohio State University to Philadelphia tonight. Gordon Gee's daughter, Dr. Rebecca Gee, was a passenger on the Vespa that collided with an SUV Saturday night along the 1000 block of County Line Road. She broke her leg, but her husband, Dr. Alan Moore, who was driving, remains in critical condition at the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. Rebecca Gee is an OB-GYN and a clinical scholar at Penn's Medical School. Moore is a noted endocrinologist at Mass General Hospital in Boston. Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell has a new side job tonight. He has been named chairman of the National Governors Association. Rendell replaces Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty. Today, Rendell said that his #1 priority will be funding for infrastructure improvements across the country to ensure safe bridges, schools, airports, ports, and water systems. The National Governors Association is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. A Delaware County fire company received a generous grant to help purchase some new equipment today. This is the Bethel Township Hose Company #1 in Garnet Valley. Pennsylvania U.S. Senator Bob Casey and Representative Joe Sestak joined officials for the big announcement today. The fire company was awarded a $75,000 grant to get a new fire alarm system for the station, as well as new exhaust systems for its trucks. This was a very emotional day in Vineland, New Jersey. Almost 100 elderly South Jersey veterans received medals, certificates, and lots of thanks for their time in the armed services.
This ceremony says, in some small part, thank you from a grateful state to those who have answered the nation's call to service.
They held the ceremony at the new Vineland Veterans Memorial Home on Northwest Boulevard. The veterans who served decades ago in all branches of the military were very pleased, even overwhelmed, as some shed tears as they received honors today. Some had family members by their side. It was a day to remember in Vineland. The baseball world congregating at Yankee Stadium tonight.
A place to be, and we are there. The Stars are out tonight, Jim, and then again tomorrow. First up tonight, of course, the Home Run Derby. Chase Utley looking fastball tonight, looking to go yard at Yankee Stadium. At the All-Star game tonight, here's our Jamie Apodi.
We're here at Yankee Stadium. The All-Star festivities set to begin tonight with the Home Run Derby, which means all eyes will be on our very own Chase Utley.
You try to find a groove. I mean, you want to try to find a comfort zone and a groove. And if you find that, you never know what can happen. If you don't, it's going to be quick.
How's Chase going to do tonight in the Home Run Derby?
He's going to do good. I mean, he might not hit his mini balls as far as guys like Josh Hamilton, but Chase is such a good hitter that if he gets locked into that home run swing, he can continue to put balls over the fence and do it, continue to do it. So I think he's got a good shot.
How do you think a guy like Chase Utley will do tonight?
Oh, he's going to do really good. I got that feeling.
How good?
Real good. He might be in the final. That's how good he's going to do it.
David Ortiz does pick you to go to the finals.
Does he? Well, I'm going to have to say thanks to Big Papi.
Of course, the real pressure is on bullpen catcher Mick Billmeyer. He will be the one pitching to Chase Utley. We looked for him all day, but I think he's inside somewhere icing his arm. At Yankee Stadium, the All-Star Game. I'm Jamie Apodi, Channel 6, Action News.
The place to be. You got to love Big Papi, right? Gary Papi. Phillies at the break. Real fight in the East. Just a half game ahead of the red Mets. Hot Red Mets last night, yesterday afternoon. Pat Burrell, 8th inning. Harry Callis, please. 6-3 Phillies over Arizona. So Shane Victorino says, nice to be in first, although only a half game over the Mets.
We could have opened up the gap a little, but hey, we let everybody back in. But ultimately we're still in first place. We still, control our own destiny, and I think that's a positive in itself. And, to say the Phillies are in first place by the All-Star break, we haven't heard that in a while.
And so it ends for the All-Star guys. Pat Burrell should be there. Ryan Howard, definitely. Got the standings at the break. The Phillies a half game ahead of those Mets. Boy, they're hot. Then you got Florida game and a half back, Atlanta and Washington. Remember last year the Phillies were in third place at the All-Star break. That's how they stack up this year, 2008. Updating Brett Favre, the situation in Green Bay, telling Fox News Channel today that he is guilty of retiring too early. Does not feel all that welcome in Green Bay, he says, and therefore wants to play someplace else. For who knows, this is far from over. Meanwhile, updating Donovan McNabb, last time we saw him was in June at that camp. Remember, he said, I got a sore arm. They shut him down because of the tired arm. Thinking then, Donovan, take it easy for a while. And today, on his website, Donovan says fans might be happy to know that I am in Arizona working out with Brian Dawkins. Next week, some of the other players will come out here. We'll work together for a few days before training camp starts. That's going to be the following week. I'm feeling great, he says. The shoulder is fine. Can't wait to get started this season. Yardbarker.com. That is Donovan's website. Nice to hear from Donovan. 11 o'clock tonight, we'll have Home Run Derby and Jamie Apodi.
Here we go.
That's the way it works.
Action News continues in just a moment.
Adam Joseph.
The French Revolution lived in Center City, Philadelphia today with a Bastille Day celebration, and they let them eat crepes at the Sofitel Hotel at 17th and Sansom. Bastille Day is a national holiday in France, of course. It commemorates the storming of the Bastille on July 14th, 1789. The Bastille was a fortress and prison, and it all marked the beginning of the French Revolution. Let them eat crepes.
And they didn't bring us back any? The camera guy?
Not one. Oh. What about that AccuWeather forecast?
We're set to sizzle, not tomorrow, but by the middle and the end of the week. Storm Tracker 6 live right now. We're drying things out. We're still hanging on to a little bit of cloud cover, especially east of the city, but the rain is out of here. Let's take a look right now. Sky 6 live at high definition. You can see some blue there west of the city, and the blue skies will dominate the rest of the week. Temperature right now at our high of the day, 82 degrees. Your humidity lower than this morning, 43%. Barometer 29, 89 and steady. Winds out of the west at 12 miles an hour, and your ocean temperature, 65 degrees. Showers this morning, a lot of clouds throughout the day now beginning to break up. 68 was the low this morning, normal is 70. Made it up to that 82 degrees, 4 degrees shy of the normal high, and the record 101 set in 1954. Temperature 83 right now in Reading, 80 degrees in Allentown, Wildwood 77 degrees, Dover 78, holding on to the cloud cover a little longer and the showers as well a little longer earlier this morning, so didn't recover as much down to the south and east. Satellite 6 at action radar, the cold front slowly pushing off the coast. There you can see the drawing now just on our doorstep, but clear skies as you walk all the way back through the Ohio Valley and also into the midsection of the country. Next 2 days, high pressure and control, sunny and warm, low humidity with a west-northwesterly wind. But as the high goes to the east, when you're ever on the western side of a high in the summer, you know it's going to turn hazy, hot, and humid with temperatures rebounding once again back into the 90s. We've seen quite a few of them so far this summer season. And if you're going to be down at the shore tomorrow, completely different than today. Bright sunshine, 76 to 80 degrees. There will be a sea breeze pretty quickly late morning and the afternoon. Also, those rip currents remain on the moderate to high side. So if you are going to venture into the water, again, as Cecily mentioned, probably just go up to your knees and always go into the water where the beaches are guarded. Tropical Storm Bertha is the reason for the rip currents. 70-mile-an-hour winds, a strong tropical storm moving to the north at 9. Right now, hammering the island of Bermuda with 70-mile-an-hour winds, trying to strengthen a little bit. So even though she's moving slowly, eventually will pick up steam, move away, and then it will reduce our risk for the rip currents. But the call from AccuWeather today, we had the shades of gray turning much brighter tomorrow, 60 to 66 tonight, comfortable under partly cloudy skies. And the exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast, it's sunny and nice on Tuesday, 88 degrees with low humidity, but then we touch 90 on Wednesday, dry but hot. Then humid and hot on Thursday, 94. Third day of 90 degrees or above on Friday makes it heat wave number 3, and hot, oppressive on Saturday, 92 degrees with the late day thunderstorm possible. And as we take a look beyond the 5-day forecast, we'll stay near 90, possibly Sunday even into Monday, with the possibility of a shower or a thunderstorm with a cold front. Let's just hope the front moves through and dries us out a little bit by that time.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
Finally tonight, everybody knows that moving can be an ordeal. And no one ever said moving was any easier in Don Pollock's world.
Everyone knows the mess and confusion and disorganization that moving can create.
It's been the worst experience in moving from one house to another, especially when you're going from large to small. You know, it's easier if you go from small to large, have room.
But if you don't, you have to start getting rid of some of your possessions, which in Mark Cohen's case includes his Lego set, which you would think wouldn't take up too much room until you see it. In all of its 20-foot wide motorized splendor, cruising the skies over the entrance foyer of his Voorhees home, where it's served as a unique decor touch for the past 18 years.
Actually, this piece came from Wanamaker's in Philadelphia. Originally, yeah. It was in their store window, and they offered it for sale. It took 2 men 9 months to build, according to what they told me. I bet you it probably weighs, I don't know, well over half a ton, I would imagine. Several motors and lights, moves up and down, does everything. I don't know what the market is for a Lego airplane, but I'm hoping maybe somebody would like to buy it.
A prospect that makes it the Delaware Valley's ultimate summer yard sale bargain, whose value lies in that it's almost a one-of-a-kind treasure.
There are only 2 in the world, as far as I know, like this. Here and in Minnesota, the Mall of America.
And the fact that, if nothing else, it would at least keep any children, nephews, cousins, or grandkids in Legos for generations to come without ever having to go to a toy store again.
About 140,000 pieces, I'm told. I think it's a lifetime supply. I think if you take it apart, you can probably live a lifetime using that.
So despite its size, it still should be relatively easy to move because it's Legos. It comes apart. See? Only 139,000 to go. I'm Don Pollock, Channel 6 Action News.
And to find out what else is going on in Don Pollock's world, just surf over to our website at 6abc.com. You will find a link to his channel under the Action News tab. World News with Charles Gibson next on Channel 6. Action News continues at 11. Health reporter Ali Gorman meets up with Senator Arlen Specter as Specter finishes his final day and final round of chemotherapy. He talks about his prognosis and how he hopes to inspire other cancer survivors. Now for Gary Papa, Adam Joseph, Dave Roberts, the entire Action News team, I'm Jim Gardner. We hope you'll join us on Action News at 11.